Hello legends, and in today's video I'm going to tell you why my corals and snails and crabs have been dying. Well, hopefully I've worked it out and we're going to get some new ones. Hello legends, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Link, and today we're talking about fish. More importantly, my marine tank. But not really about fish, more about the invertebrates. So you might have seen recently, I've just basically had snails dying, crabs dying, shrimp dying, corals dying. And I didn't know why. I've been trying to rule stuff out. So I've done like a copper test. Lots of you suggested it could be a salinity problem. So I started drip acclimating. That helped a little, but it didn't actually fix the problem. It made the problem better, but it didn't like eradicate it. So yeah, it didn't actually completely eradicate the problem. It did make it better. So, you know, I even bought a copper test. We did a copper test. Done all this different stuff. And then basically, I realised it was this causing the problem. So this is a hydrometer, also known as a swing arm hydrometer. Basically this thing is now covered in salt creep because it's been dried off and not been used for ages, which is why the arm isn't like swinging. This thing killed my tank. So your salinity should be about your specific gravity, should be 1.026 or thereabouts for a marine tank. This was reading at 1.025, 1.026 consistently, right? Every time, you see that little meter there, every time I used it, it told me I was right. And it got to a point where I was just thinking, could the hydrometer be reading a little bit out? So I was thinking maybe it's reading out by like 5 points, which is enough to be harmful, because we have got 2 hermit crabs that survived the whole time and 2 Nacerius snails that just never batted an eyelid. They're a lot healthier now. I've made changes, but they were struggling. So basically what I learned was, the problem in the tank was this basically. So I thought, to test if this is reading accurately, I'll get a refractometer. So what a refractometer is, for those of you who don't know, it's basically this little thing. You put some drops of water on there, slap that down, hold it up to the light, and it tells you how much salt there is. It basically uses the refraction of light to establish whether it's like salty or not, basically, because salt water's got salt crystals in. They refract light. Like light refraction is when light basically, it doesn't bend technically because it always goes in a straight line, but it kind of like it refracts. It goes like, it bends but in straight lines, kind of like if it bounces off. That's probably the way to describe it. It bounces off the different salt particles, changes how much light gets through, and that's how you know how salty it is. Whereas this works by the policy of salt water is slightly more buoyant than fresh water, so this thing basically lifts up this little swing arm, and basically people say these things can read slightly wrong, and they can. I've never had one out by more than 0.02 before, so no, 0.002 before, but this was reading at perfect. When I got the refractometer, it was actually 1.046. So my salinity was nearly double what it should be, which has literally killed countless snails and a couple of hermit crabs and some corals. All the lovely corals you got from Prestige Reef from Ryan are struggling. The Glonian died. One of the polyps died. I still have 2 zoas that are hanging on by a thread, 2 zoa frags, and then I have a green polyps, which actually is struggling, but it's okay. It's still going. It's much healthier since I've adjusted the salinity. So I've adjusted the salinity back to 1.026, so that's all sorted now. But the problem is, I had a naso tang. Tangs are so like finicky, but not Nigel. We've named him Nigel now. Nigel's absolutely fine. He's still going. He's not complaining. He's just living the dream, is Nige. And thankfully, he's healthy. You can see him swimming around now. He's got the seaweed clip. I don't know if you can see the seaweed clip. Which side is it here? Okay, just out of shot, there's a seaweed clip. He's been munching on the seaweed clip now. Took him a little bit of getting used to the seaweed clip, actually, because I didn't have a fish in there that had used the seaweed clip before to teach him. But yeah, anyway, now it's all sorted. It has led to a cyano outbreak, so I've been, you know, painstakingly cleaning it out by hand, water changes, trying to get rid of the cyano, because my tank is almost cycling again. Because where the salinity was so high, like, the bacteria and stuff just wasn't living because it was way too high. My ammonia, nitrates, everything still super, super low, so that's all good. But yeah, so we've basically, today, we've got another delivery of some crabs, some shrimp, some snails. We've got all the stuff coming, so we can basically restock the tank and we can do it properly. But yeah, so my main message from this video is, if you have a hydrometer, chuck it in the bin, because this thing is the bane of my existence, because it has, I've literally probably lost £200-300 worth of stuff because I bought this for like £8 instead of this for 20-30 quid. So it's stupid. And I will put an Amazon link to the one I use in the description, so you can get the one that I use. I find it reliable. I found it good. So it's ATC, which it's not like a proper like typically aquarium brand, but it's the one that I've always used on all my tanks over the years, and I always will. So it's here, my box of CUC. It's really well taped up. So these are from Saltwater, which I know is a highly recommended online store. So much tape on it, it's not even funny. I'm gonna have to get a knife. Here's one I made earlier, as they say on Blue Peter. I can't even see where the split in the box is to cut the tape, you know. Oh, there we go. And also, I'd already took some tape off before I started filming, because I didn't want to put my address on camera. Close this up before we end up with having an incident. Okay, we have a heat pack which is awful cold, and I mean cold. Some tubes of copepods. They look like they're still alive, so that's good news. It's been freezing cold today, so I really do not know what to expect, if I'm absolutely honest. One of the bags has popped. So it's a bag of what looks to me like snails or spiny snails. I'm going to float everything because I need them to warm up because they're so cold. You can't drip acclimate something until it's like at least roughly the right temperature, right? The shrimp is just about alive, and I do mean just about. What do we have here? Here we have some, I believe, choker snails. This one I think is crabs. I'm not sure actually, they look like snails now. So what snails are they? Caride snails and the serious maybe? Which means this one must be crabs. I can't kill it. It's like stuck in. Oh, there's water gone everywhere. Bloody hell. And here you have some, hopefully some hermit crabs. But yeah, look how much water's come out. Like you can hear it. And that's not including all the bits I just spill on the chair. So now they're floating, I can show you them a little bit better. So we've got the hermit crabs in here. 3 of them. In there it looks like 2 Carife and then 2 Nacerius. The Nacerius are like half the size of mine, which is cool because they'll probably get into different little areas. Then I've got a huge Mexican turbo snail and some little spiny Astrea snails. So I thought I was supposed to get 2 Mexican turbos. Looks like I only have the 1, which sucks a bit. Then I've got a peppermint shrimp. Oh no, it's over here. Peppermint shrimp. They're one of Amy's favourites, so super happy to get her that. And then I've got these, which are the Blackfoot Trocus. These are supposed to be the best ones because they correct themselves. I'll leave them to float for a while to warm up, and then I'll basically pop them all into this bucket down here. And then once they all go into the bucket, they will get drip acclimated with a little drip, and then they'll be healthy to go in the tank. Also, you don't always have to temperature acclimate them like this before you put it in the tank, but if there's a big difference in the bags, I definitely recommend it. And it's definitely, with acclimation, you can not really be too careful. Also, these hermit crabs are bigger than my ones, like way bigger, so I think Amy's going to be really happy with them, hopefully. So here's the update where we're at now. I've got the copepods floating to try and get them temperature acclimated. Now, you might think, why are you floating copepods? I'm trying to use them to kind of like seed my tank with copepods. So that's the reason I'm trying to actually acclimate them, because I want them to live. Like, I'm not just feeding them with food. And you know, it's got a little drippy tube. And then down here, we have a bucket full of crabs and shrimp. And I'm just slowly dripping water in, basically to get them used to my tank water. None of the snails look too healthy. The crabs and the shrimp look fine though, so hopefully the snails are okay. But I think it's just the cold. I think they might just take a little bit of time to warm up and wake up, so hopefully that's all it is. Also, I've let the glass kind of algify, because I'll be interested to see what do the little critters do once they go in there. Can they fix that? Now they've been acclimated, I'm going to try something I've never done, which is like, okay, that failed. I thought I was about to scoop them all up in the big net. It did not work. My next problem is I only have this tiny net now and then. In you go, little shrimpy. This is definitely not the best footage I've ever filmed. The shrimp is holding onto the net. Get off! Get off, look, you got a new life of freedom in here. Come on! Look at him. He's like, nah, I'm not getting out, I like this net thing. Like, get off! Look at him. Trying to take him to the rock. Thinking that he'd prefer the rock down here. Come on. Oh, there we go. He's gone flying. I don't know if the pump's got him or what, but... Okay, he's near the pump at the back. He's okay. He's just starting it out. This net is definitely not the one for this. I don't really know how you're supposed to add snails to your tank. I've just kind of been going with this kind of like bash them in method. And like I say, all my snails have been dying, so I'm probably not the expert. I know it was my salinity though, it wasn't my fault. In you go. That Trocus there, you can kind of see his body now. Let's try and put them all... I'm not even showing you what I'm doing. Let's try and put them all somewhat the right way up. And that will hopefully help them all. This turbo snail is giant. Like, look at it. Not even showing you it. Try and put him like that. Okay, this other turbo snail here is showing signs of life, which is good. These like starfish kind of snails are cool, but I don't have a clue if they're alive. That I believe is a hermit crab. Yeah, I think we've got them all sorted. There's nothing else in the bucket at least, so hopefully they'll settle in. I'll show you how they're getting on in a little bit. So the tank's now looking super cloudy. Nature tank's enjoying it though. No signs of life in that one so far, but if you look at these, try not to burp there. The crabs are nice and alive. Focus on him. Got a new camera, so I'm still sort of playing with it. The Nacerius, the little snorkel was just out. So small to show you. So I think the Nacerius are alright, and the crabs, which is funny because those are the ones that were perfectly fine last time. And like I said, I'll give them some time, let them settle. The shrimp is fine, but he's like hanging out in the wave maker. Hopefully he comes down soon, because I don't really like the idea of him getting sucked in the wave maker. Also this Carife snail and this Chocus here, put them on the rocks. Not deliberately, it's just kind of where they landed, but we'll see how it goes for a bit. One thing that is really cool is you see these little like orangey specks. They're too small to focus on, but you see these little like reddy orangey specks all over the glass. That's the copepods we just added. One thing I do recommend is if you're using like an internal filter or an external filter like me, I would turn it off when you first add the copepods. Give them a little bit of time, you know, to get down in your sand, get into your rock work, and then turn your filter on. Otherwise your filter is going to suck most of them up. If you've got a sump, it's obviously harder to do, but definitely helps. Turn the lights off now, just to let all the different critters acclimate, and I don't know if it will focus, I don't think it will, because of how dark it is, but yeah, there, it's focused. That Nacerius snail's just come out of his shell and start moving around. So yeah, I'm going to leave him in the dark for a bit, and then we'll come back. I'm going to zoom out now. Like I say, it's a new camera, still getting used to it. And we'll see how they're getting on. And then in a few days, there'll be another video where we put some corals back in the tank. So hopefully it all goes well. So I've just put the lights on, and let's have a look how they're doing. So the Chocus snail, that one's not looking too sharp, but this one here, okay, that one's not doing anything. You can see that Nacerius there, which is buried under the sand, and then all the other ones have kind of got into a pile, but you can see, if it wants to focus, you see that Chocus is like cleaning this, is it an Astrea? Some people call them ninja snails and stuff, but they're all cleaning like the different shells and stuff. That one hasn't moved, that one hasn't moved, and also this big boy Mexican turbo snail hasn't moved, but the situation is we've just basically got a pile of snails at the front, but I'm going to have some dinner and we'll see how they are after that. So, after dinner, that Chocus is still looking a bit unhealthy. This Carife I think has turned around. The big boy turbo snail still hasn't moved. But these guys are all still like, moving around and swapping places and stuff, so I think they're just cleaning each other, but I think at the moment, where everything's fresh to the tank is being careful, but not the zombie snail. I love the Nacerius snails, they're one of my favourite things in the tank probably. They just look awesome every time. And they just like wiggle around and enjoy himself. I just put some flakes in and he's like just whizzing out eating the flakes. He's just living it up. Also I don't know where the shrimp is, so he's found a good hiding place, but you see the other Nacerius snails there. But he's kind of poking his nose out. Oh sorry, I moved too much. Way too much. Poking his nose out there, like next to the flake, because he can smell the food as well. So I feel this edition of inverts was a success, which means the next video will be me adding some corals. Thank you all so much for watching this vlog. I really appreciate you coming to hang out and watch this. If you want to see me get some corals, that's going to be the next one. So we're going to try some corals again. Big delivery coming, loads of stuff. So stick around, it's going to be worth it. Hit the sub button. Like the video if you've enjoyed it, and if you've got any advice for fish keeping, do let me know in the comments down below. I love your advice, it really helps me, so comment down below everyone. Bye. Thanks so much for watching today guys. If you've enjoyed that, you can click up here and you can watch another video of mine, or if you really love it, if you really love it, or even if you just like it a little bit, go down here and subscribe to the channel. It means you'll never ever miss what is coming up real soon.